Welcome to the deep dive. We're here to unpack your sources, bring you the key insights, maybe some surprising facts along the way.
Exactly.
And today we are diving deep into something really recent and frankly quite upsetting. An event at one of America's, most iconic natural spots, the Grand Canyon. Some places just feel like they'll always be there, right? Unshakable. But, well, even these incredible landscapes are facing challenges we haven't really seen before.
That's certainly true.
So our mission today is to thoroughly unpack the Dragon Bravo fire. It hit the Grand Canyon's north rim pretty hard. We want to look at what happened, the impact, and it's kind of cascading, and the really remarkable, sometimes unexpected challenges the responders faced.
Yeah, the response part is fascinating.
And of course, what this means for the future of that specific part of the park, the North Rim.
Right.
We're working from a pretty comprehensive report here detailing the fire, the consequences. So you'll get a clear picture. Don't worry, we'll break it down.
We'll make sense of it.
Okay, let's unpack this.
Let's do it.
So the story starts with this fire, now known as the Dragon Bravo fire. That name alone, it just sounds intense now, doesn't it?
It does. And it all began with a lightning strike. Pretty common ignition source, actually. Happened on July 4th, 2025, right there on the North Rim.
July 4th. Wow.
Yeah. But what's really crucial to understand here isn't just the spark. It's how quickly the conditions just took over.
Yeah.
Any chance of early containment, well, it vanished.
What kind of conditions are we talking
We were
about?
talking extreme heat, for one,
Yeah.
and humidity astonishingly low, like single digits low.
Wow.
Combine that with powerful winds, really unpredictable gusts hitting up to 40 miles per hour.
40 miles per hour.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you have to picture the Grand Canyon, right? Those huge sheer walls, the way the terrain naturally funnels wind, it basically turns a spark into this raging fire almost instantly.
So those initial containment lines, they didn't stand a chance.
Pretty much overwhelmed
Okay.
very quickly, which allowed the fire to spread at, well, just an alarming rate.
And the immediate impact.
Mhm.
It sounds like it was fast and just brutal.
It really was. By July 13th, so that's less than 10 days after it started.
Just over a week.
Yeah, just over a week. The Dragon Bravo fire had already scorched over 5,000 acres, all within the North Rim area of the park.
5,000 acres. It's hard to even picture that scale sometimes.
It's huge. Think about maybe all the parks in a major city just gone, wiped out. That's the kind of sweep we're talking about, through a very sensitive place in barely any time at all.
And as the fire kept going, the true cost started to become clear. A loss that really hit hard, didn't it? Deep into the park's history and people's memories. The most significant loss here, and it just sounds heartbreaking reading about it, is the Grand Canyon Lodge.
Indeed. And the lodge, it was so much more than just, a building. It was built way back in 1937, a National Historic Landmark, and for very good reason.
It was the only place to stay inside the park on the North Rim, wasn't it?
That's right, the only one. A kind of a self-contained hub up there, and architecturally it was unique. That sloped roof, everyone knows it. Those massive ponderosa beams, the limestone facade, just iconic.
You see pictures, it's instantly recognizable.
Exactly. It was a truly beloved spot. Generations of visitors stayed there, made memories there. The report, it really emphasizes this park staff called it the heartbeat of the North Rim.
The heartbeat, that says a lot.
It does. Its destruction is, well, it's a void, not just in the landscape, but in the park's living history. It's deeply felt.
Yeah, you definitely get that sense from the report. The staff, past guests, the wider community, just real heartbreak over losing something so iconic. But it wasn't just the lodge, was it? That loss seemed to trigger other problems, kind of a domino effect.
Absolutely. It wasn't isolated. Beyond the lodge itself, the destruction was sadly much broader. Somewhere between 50 and 80 other structures were also destroyed.
50 to 80, what kind of structures?
Well, historic cabins, for starters, the visitor center, administrative buildings, and really critical stuff, too, like the water treatment plant.
The water treatment plant.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's not just about losing buildings people visited. It's the guts of the operation on the North Rim. Pretty
Sure.
much wiped out.
Wow. So the infrastructure is gone.
Largely, yes. And then there are those 5,000 acres we mentioned. That's a huge ecological hit. The report touches on impacts to, critical habitats for endangered species, long-term worries about soil erosion, watershed problems. That's years, maybe decades of restoration work needed.
Decades. Okay, but amidst all this devastation, there was some good news, right? On the human side.
Yes, absolutely. And it's crucial news. All the staff, all the residents up there, they were safely evacuated before the fire reached those key areas.
That's amazing.
It really is. And thankfully, No injuries, no fatalities reported, which, given the speed and intensity, is a real testament to the evacuation efforts. Quick action, saved lives.
Definitely something to be grateful for. Now, you mentioned the challenges for responders earlier. What made this fire so particularly difficult beyond, just being a huge wildfire?
Well, what's really striking here, maybe alarming, are the unexpected things they ran into. Of course, you had the winds, constant battle, hazardous conditions. That's almost a given in these situations, sadly.
Right.
But then came something critical and, frankly, unforeseen. A chlorine gas leak.
A chlorine leak. Where did that come from?
From the damaged water treatment facility, the
Yeah.
one we just mentioned was destroyed.
Okay. The infrastructure linked again.
Exactly. And this wasn't just like an inconvenience, it created a chemical hazard zone. Chlorine gas is nasty stuff. Inhaling it causes severe lung damage. It can be lethal.
So firefighters had to pull back.
They had to. They were forced to evacuate that specific area temporarily. And critically, this meant the aerial support the planes dropping retardant, a key tool.
They had to stop.
They had to halt the drops. You can't have pilots flying into a toxic gas plume. So for a period, that flank of the fire was basically left unchecked. It just shows how one failure, especially an unexpected one like this, can completely unravel your firefighting strategy.
A chlorine leak on top of a wildfire. The complexity is just astounding. How do responders even cope with that? What became the strategy once this whole new danger emerged?
Right. So the fire is now being managed using what's called an aggressive full suppression strategy.
Full suppression. What does that mean exactly?
It means they're actively fighting the fire everywhere it's burning, putting it out directly. It's different from, say, sometimes in wilderness areas where they might let a fire burn naturally in less critical zones to clear out fuel.
Okay.
But here, because of the immediate threat to the remaining structures, the cultural sites, the sensitive natural resources, the decision was made for a direct, all-out firefight. The ongoing efforts are really focused on protecting whatever is left and those vital natural resources still at risk.
Makes sense. With the North Rim hit so hard, the immediate impact for anyone planning a visit must be huge.
Oh, definitely. The entire North Rim is closed to all visitors for the rest of the 2025 season.
A whole season.
The whole season. It's because of the ongoing fire activity, obviously, but also just major safety concerns. It's not safe for visitors or personnel right now.
And this closure, it raises a question about access deeper into the canyon too, right? It's not just about the rim facilities.
That's a really important point, yes. It's not just the rim. There are extensive trail closures within the Inner Canyon corridor now. We're talking about really iconic, heavily used trails.
Like which ones?
Like the North Kaibab, the South Kaibab. Phantom Ranch down at the bottom.
Phantom Ranch is closed.
Closed, and
Yeah.
the Bright Angel Trail below Havasupai Gardens, all of them closed until further notice. This really impacts hikers, backpackers, anyone needing those routes to get deep into the canyon. A huge disruption.
That is major. But it's important maybe to let you know, the listener, that the South Rim is still open, right? Tourists can still go there.
That's correct. The South Rim remains open, so you can still experience the Grand Canyon from that side, but there's no denying it, losing the North Rim's facilities entirely. That's a major blow to the park's whole operation for the season. The North Rim experience is unique and vital for managing visitor numbers overall.
And looking beyond the immediate closures, what's next? Is there talk about reviewing how this all happened?
Yes, there is. In fact, Arizona's governor, Katie Hobbs, has already called for a federal investigation.
A federal investigation? Into what specifically?
Into the emergency response itself and also the fire management decisions that, well, ultimately led to this level of destruction. It shows how serious this is being taken, and there's clearly a desire to understand what happened and learn from it.
Right. So now, the park officials, what are their absolute top priorities?
Number one is safety. Safety of personnel still working there and ensuring no visitors are put at risk. That's paramount. Then it's about preserving any structures that did survive. And crucially, protecting the cultural and natural resources that are irreplaceable within the park boundary.
And the community feeling. I imagine it's tough.
Deeply tough. The report notes a strong sense of mourning, for sure. Loss of history, loss of place. But alongside that, there's also this profound gratitude that no lives were lost. That seems to be a recurring sentiment.
Yeah, perspective is important. So as we wrap up this deep dive, what really strikes me is how this event showed the fragility of even these massive park operations. The lodge going wasn't just losing a building because it was the only lodging, self-reliant.
Yeah.
Its loss cascaded, like you said, into that chlorine leak from its water system.
Mhm.
It highlights this intricate, kind of vulnerable web holding these landmarks together.
That's a great way to put it. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, this whole event really forces us to ask some tough questions, doesn't it? Well, how do we, as a society, actually balance preserving these amazing historic places, these natural treasures, which are often remote, sometimes self-contained, like the North Rim, was how do we balance that with the growing threat of extreme weather? Wildfires, floods, you name it, and these cascading failures we saw.
Right.
What does this incident really mean for how we manage and protect our national parks going forward, especially in a climate that's becoming more and more volatile? How do we make sure they're still here for future generations? It's a really complex challenge and one we're likely going to face again and again.
A sobering thought to end on. Definitely
Yep.
something for all of us to think about.